It's the Riot Podcast. This is the Tuesday, August 1st edition. We have a special guest for our intro today. How many times do you have to be a special guest before you just become a regular guest?
And then I'm back to being on the show. Is that it?
Yeah, right. Every time you come back, it's a little less special. No, but it's good to have. It's good to have Nikki on for the intro today. And our topic for the podcast intro today is my hat. Do you like my hat?
I love your hat. If you have not seen the new dad hat through shop.radiou.com, Hudson's wearing it. It looks fantastic.
This is the debut on the Radio U Works for the Riot podcast. So shop.radiou.com if you want to pick it up. I don't do it justice. I don't think anybody's ever seen me wearing something and then go, I could look as good as that.
I need that.
Yeah. If I just had that hat, I'd look as good as Hudson.
Do you guys want to have a behind the scenes thing? For the podcast listeners, something special. So the hat that Hudson is wearing, so I'm in Florida, the hats got accidentally mailed to me.
And
then I had to go take them to UPS and mail them back to you guys.
What? No wonder they took so long to get here.
I know. It wasn't too bad, but please go ahead and grab one of the dad hats because they are going fast.
Why aren't you wearing one?
I forgot where it's at. It's somewhere in here.
She mailed them all back.
No, it's over there. And honestly, it fell on the floor, so I think there's dog hair on it.
Oh, yeah. No, that is the problem with it being black, is that will show up real quick for me. And Zafira, the dog, is shedding right now, so not great. Our other topic is, Nikki, I'm sure that you've been sent this. I knew I didn't even need to share this with you because somebody surely has sent you the controversial video from China where it's a zoo and there's a debate over whether it's an actual sun bear in the zoo or whether it's a person wearing a sun bear costume. Have you seen this?
Yes. The video has been sent to me a lot. So it's the man bear that's in China, and it is a sun bear, which, have you guys ever seen a sun bear before?
Yeah, they have one at our zoo. At least I think it's a sun bear and not a person in a costume.
I've only seen photos. I'm not as big of a zoo boy as Hudson is.
When you talk about bears, they're not like the attractive bears. They're kind of odd looking.
Oh, come on.
Bears are very odd looking. So I guess I was curious. Do you guys think it's a man in a costume based on the butt of the bear that when you watch?
I know.
Well, no, you go ahead, Isaiah.
So when I first watched it, I thought, I was like, dang, that does look, based on the butt alone, it looks like that could be a man. But then when he sits down, I was like, a man could never sit down like that. Because he just bends straight backwards on that ledge. In the way that he sat, I was like, no man could physically do that. So I leaned back to bear.
The costume couldn't, if it was a costume, I don't think the costume could have bent with him in such a way. So yes, okay. Well, what do you think, Hudson?
No, yeah, at first I understand because of just its posture. It doesn't look like you expect a bear to look. And then also, of course, as Isaiah mentioned, the wrinkly butt that just looks like bunched up fabric. Sorry to this bear, but it did draw my gaze and not in a positive way. However, Isaiah's right. The mannerisms, and if you zoom in, when people look closely, you can see the bear's mouth moving in a way that, that costume would have to be more expensive than an actual sun bear for it to be a person in there. So I believe it's a bear.
Even though we have seen a lot of zoos, especially in smaller areas where they're just trying to bring people in and they can't afford the animal, they'll make things up. There's been zoos that have had stuffed animals or costumes and they're just off in a distance. So they hope you can't tell it's not real. But when you look at it again, a sun bear is not as fluffy or fuzzy in all areas. So I think it is a sun bear. It's an unflattering angle.
I think it needs a BBL.
That's what it does need. If it had a big butt behind there, people would be so much more likely to believe it's real.
Yeah.
Can you imagine, though? Because, when you have a BBL, you're not supposed to sit down forever. So, the poor bear will just have to be hovering and can never sit down. So,
you'd have a tough time.
Everybody with the BBL is upset, too, because they're like, everyone says it looks fake. But if we put it on this bear, now all of a sudden the bear's real.
Yeah, right.
I know, because again, a sun bear has a different look. It's got a different body structure than a grizzly bear or something where they have really big butts. So
that's right.
I think it's a real bear.
Nikki's a bear butt expert. That's why I bring her
I
on
mean,
the
she
show.
knows a bear's butt. I mean, she could, if you just showed the butt, she could tell you the bear.
Well, that's now I'm the specialist. So anytime you guys see a bear story, please send those in because this was a hot topic. Everybody wanted to know.
I'm
Yeah,
glad we
it
got
was.
your expert opinion. Thanks for coming on the show, Nikki. We got a good podcast following this up. I don't know how we can top it, but we'll try.
We'll keep it rolling.
And thanks to the hat for making an appearance as well. Shop.radiou.com.
The riot.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
I saw something yesterday that I've never seen before. I saw a solo protester.
Now that takes some courage.
It does. Or just a few things to go wrong and and this guy to be unsuspecting here. You know, it was different. First of all, I think because when I say solo protester, this guy had a sign and everything. And
What was he protesting?
we're all familiar. Well, I looked it up. You're jumping ahead.
Okay, go on. Whatever.
Yeah, but we're familiar, right, with the guy who there in every city. There's probably some guy who stands on a street corner and yells stuff. But this wasn't that. That's like one guy. He knows he's solo. He's handing out pamphlets and whatever. That's one thing. This guy, he was out on a street corner, not in like it was like a busy place of town, lots of traffic, but it wasn't like downtown type thing. And so he's out on the street corner on his own, carrying a sign. But the problem was I could see he had a bunch of other signs made up. They're all the same.
Oh, no.
Like he was expecting other people to show up.
And nobody did.
So either, I mean, I guess, do you think a bunch of his friends ghosted him? They're like, yeah, we'll come protest with you. Yeah, I mean, great cause. Of course we're going to be there. And then they just didn't show up. Or, I mean, what's the alternative?
That's the only way.
That he just thought that him being out there by himself,
like
other
someone
people
would join him?
Yeah, and his signs weren't clear. They just had a website.
Oh, that's stupid anyway.
Yeah, right. He wasn't. I mean, he might have been yelling stuff. I couldn't hear. I was in my car. And so, but you know what I did, though? I did go to the website, of course. I went to the website not because I was moved. Well, I guess I was moved, but I was really like, I pitied him. I felt bad. I was like,
you
oh,
were embarrassed for him.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, you're out here all alone. I mean, one, you must really believe, but two, like, I just feel bad for you. And so, sure, okay, I'll go ahead for you. I don't want you, you know. Let me check this website out. I understand why he was all alone. Street
Makes
corner.
sense now.
I understand if he was inviting friends, why they might have been like, nah, we'll pass. You don't have to worry about making up that sign for me. But hey.
So bad cause, you would say.
I wouldn't. It's not a cause I would support. No, if it
you
was,
wouldn't be out there on the corner with.
Yeah, definitely not. I would not want to be seen holding one of his signs. I did kind of like, again, I was kind of at first simply because not because I agreed, because I didn't even know what he was protesting, but I was like, I kind of want to just get out there because I feel bad for this guy. Going it alone.
You know that just like made him a super believer too. Since nobody showed up, now he's like even more into the cause. Like because he's like, nobody wanted to come and support me. Now I'm 100%.
I have to fight even harder.
Yes, nobody wants to fight with me. I will be the solo fighter for this cause.
Do you think he had a moment of self-reflection when he got home from protesting? He's like, why didn't anybody join me? I think it was the signs. Maybe I didn't have a very good chant.
Maybe my message when I said it to him,
like
invited them.
What was it?
Why couldn't I get more people there?
Why did nobody help? I mean, the cause speaks for itself, you would think, but so why? I just don't get it. I just don't. But there
I wonder
he was.
if he went home and was like, was that a waste of my time? That's what he should have been thinking.
Yeah, that would be the self-reflection that he.
That's what I would have.
He really needed. He needed to look at himself and just go, you know what? Maybe this is the last time I protest alone. Maybe this is a sign. Maybe this is the sign I needed, not the one on the picket sign, the one that nobody else showing up.
Because maybe my cause sucks.
Nobody does it better. The Riot Radio U.
Amazes me that people can get into fights at water parks. You'd think you'd be so happy there.
It's supposed to be a fun place, you know?
Yeah, fun in the sun. Everybody's just splashing, having a good time.
How could you get mad?
How could you be mad? How could you be in a bad mood? Well, I'll tell you, I have one woman here that was hanging out at Cedar Point Shores in Ohio, in Sandusky, Ohio. and she got into an altercation with a child. I don't know how old exactly the age of the child is, but it was a kid. It was a minor.
So we're thinking under the age of 12, maybe?
Gotta be, right?
I'm thinking like 10. Let's go with 10.
It's gotta be. Yeah, we'll just guess 10. We'll guess 10. And the problem is this woman was apparently 67, if I'm reading this
That's
right.
the problem?
Well, that's one of the problems. She's 67. What kind of first of all, what kind of 67-year-old woman is getting into a fight with a 10-year-old child?
That's true.
That's problem one right there. Secondly, she called the child a brat, called it fat. Also said some words you're not supposed to say. Besides
Towards the
those,
child?
Yeah. In addition to those other ones that you're not supposed to say. And so she got the police called on her. And that's all one thing. That's all. I mean, that's the worst of what she did. But she did more. She also, when the police were questioning her, she was like, I didn't say any of those things.
Do I look like the kind of woman that would say something like that?
Yeah.
Come on.
She went to that.
This is all hearsay.
She goes, I'm a Christian woman. I would never do that.
Oh, it's a load of barnacles.
And on top of all of it, we don't know if she was telling the truth about being a Christian woman. We have to call it into question because we do know that she lied about her name, her age. She lied about not having an ID. She basically lied about everything. So just a wild woman right here.
That's crazy.
Getting into a fight with a child at a water park, and you're a grandmother.
It's not like it got physical either.
Yeah.
So she could have just soaked it. She could have been like, I yelled at the kid.
Yeah,
What are you going to arrest me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I called him fat. What do you want from me? At what
Is that
age,
a crime?
At what age can you call a child fat?
If it's child, I don't think you can ever.
What if it's your own?
I don't think you can do it to a person.
What if it's your own?
To an adult. It's your own. I think that makes it worse, doesn't it?
I think it's worse if it's a stranger. I think if you're a 67-year-old woman
Yeah.
and you look at a kid at a water park and you call him fat, that's messed up.
She's a bully.
That's messed up.
She's a 67-year-old bully.
But you know how funny, I'm just saying, you know how funny it'd be to be there at the water park to see this go down?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than being able to watch chaos ensue just far enough away to where it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to see the 10-year-old and this woman just going back and forth.
Uh-huh.
I hope he called her names too.
He had to have some good insults, right? Loaded up 10-year-old.
Way easier to roast.
I mean, he could have just channeled Pee-wee right there. I know you are, but what am I?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I hope that it was going back and forth. We don't have any word on what the child said.
Yeah.
Maybe he was being a
Because
brat.
it's okay for a 10-year-old to say who knows what, but for a 67-year-old grandmother who claims to be a Christian woman
What if he was being bad, though, you know? How bad would he have to be? What would he have to do?
What could he possibly have done?
That's what I'm thinking.
To have a stranger that's a grandma yelling at him.
Maybe he was splashing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this much. If you splashed me at the water park and I didn't want to be splashed, I could be pretty ruthless.
Oh, yeah. Nobody wants that.
I'm not going to call a 10-year-old fat, but I might be mean to him.
It does
from afar.
It kind of comes with the territory, though.
Yeah,
what do you
but
think? When you come to water park, you think you're not going to get wet?
Yeah, that's true.
Although 67-year-olds, I don't think they like getting wet.
Maybe she was trying to relax in the lazy river.
Yeah.
He was being a little bit rambunctious.
Yeah. And so call him a brat.
I guess so.
The stories you love with the opinions you hate. The Riot Radio U.
Elon Musk just can't catch a break. When will something go right for this guy?
Other than being like $1 million billionaire.
The richest person in the world. But everything he does with Twitter just seems to go wrong. The latest thing is, we remember about a week ago, out of nowhere, he changes Twitter to X, which still is a sucky name. It's stupid. It's a bad logo. And, but whatever, do whatever you want, Elon. And he went ahead and he had to take down at the Twitter headquarters, of course. If you're not calling it Twitter anymore, you got to take down the Twitter sign. You got to replace it with an X sign, which he got made in a flash, apparently. And so they had the X sign up for just a day or two. And it was so obnoxious, so ridiculous, that neighbors all around could see it and were complaining. And so already the X sign has been dismantled.
You got to watch it. Did you see this video?
Yeah, it's outrageous looking.
It's right. The first video is just like the video of the X or whatever, like lit up and whatnot, flashing.
Yeah,
the
annoying.
second video shows the apartment complex across the street. I would be livid.
It's like fully illuminated.
And it's just flashing at their windows. It's crazy. It looks like someone took a strobe light and had it outside your your bedroom window and was just ringing it on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be upset.
You ever, you know what it looks like when you're driving and there's like the obnoxiously way too super bright, like, I mean, they need them, but construction lights or the police car with the flashing lights that's like pulled somebody over and it has like every light, every kind of strobe light they're possibly allowed to have on the police cars. And so you can't even see what you're doing to drive because the light's flashing. That's what this is right outside these people's window. Constantly.
Yeah, I'd be upset.
So
makes sense they're taking it down.
Yeah,
and
not a shock.
And the other thing about this, I've been against this little X since the beginning because I don't think it fits on the building. I think it looks silly on the building. I think if you're gonna have like something like this, a big flashing symbol, you need to have a skinny building.
Okay.
To where like kind of like if you think about like in Marvel, right, Stark Towers or whatever, it needs to be like a skyscraper.
Yeah.
That leads up to the symbol at the top. If you have a long building, it looks really silly to have this little emblem just randomly sitting on top of it, I think.
Yeah, you got to design a sign that fits the building.
Yeah, it needs to be wide. You need to fit your building. If it's a skinny building, yeah, having the little X at the top, it's sleek, it looks good. In this big square of a building, it just looks stupid on top.
It's just, and it's just obnoxiously bright. How can they be? I mean, they couldn't. It's already been taken down within mere days of being put up there. It's already been taken down because it was so bright, so disturbing. It was like the Seinfeld episode with Kenny Rogers Chicken in real life.
Yeah, you would think that. I think the flashing is the worst part. I think if it was just illuminated, it would be less annoying. But the strobe on it, that's too much.
Yeah.
You're doing too much.
No blackout curtains could stop this.
No, not the X.
It's true.
You can't stop Elon.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.